ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 4. Being Packers fans, this is our favorite part, obviously. By far, number 4. Alright, now, seriously though, on to the AFC East. In this segment, we're going to be talking about the Patriots and the Jets. And then, after that, we'll get to the Bills and Dolphins in our last segment. Alright, so, Patriots lost Darrelle Revis. How bad they're going to miss him?
Well, he's a great player, but let's face it, the Sith Lord,
The hoodie.
he'll find a way. They'll miss him, but they'll fill it in somehow.
Yeah, no, like I said earlier, man, Belichick, the sign of a great coach, man, Belichick is able to replace, in the time of free agency, something that, people like Roger Staubach and Bear Bryant. Wait, was he college? But yeah, that was college. Never mind, excuse me. That was Alabama's college coach. But, free agency, the Tom Landry. I said Roger Staubach too, didn't I? That's a coach. That's not a coach, that's a player. Anyway, point is, the Vince Lombardis, the Tom Landrys, Hank Stram, all these people, they didn't really have to contend with free agency. So, keeping a Super Bowl winning roster together, even the Cowboys and the 49ers, yeah, there were changes in free agency, but it wasn't like it is today. So having a Super Bowl winning roster and keeping it together is so much harder now. But Tom Brady has found a way to do it. Yeah. I mean, year after year after year, they win the Super Bowl, or even go to a Super Bowl. I mean, they've been to 6? Him and Brady. So every time they go to a Super Bowl, they come back, they lose some players, and then within a couple years they're back. Sometimes it's the next year. So, I mean, they might hurt early, but I think by the end of the season, come playoff time, Belichick's going to have them boys playing right.
No, I mean, I think most of the mock drafts right now are predicting them to pick up a cornerback in the draft, so look to fill a hole. Not saying Kevin Johnson or Byron Jones is going to fill the hole of Darrelle Revis.
Right, obviously. But some help is better than no help. So we'll skip this one question, go back to it. So since we're already talking about replacing Darrelle Revis for the first pick, is that the way you think they go in the first round? Pick 32?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a big void there with a player like Revis gone.
Yeah. I mean, they could obviously use some star power at wide receiver, and some people have him picking Rashad Perriman if he falls that low, or maybe perhaps Jalen Strong. But Brady, his entire career, has won Super Bowls without star power. Now, he reached a Super Bowl with star power and Randy Moss, but he did not win it. When he has won, he has had Brandon LaFell, Deion Branch.
Yep.
Julian Edelman. And some of these guys go on to other teams, like Deion Branch. After he won a Super Bowl with Brady, I think it was after the second Super Bowl, he left, went to Seattle on a big money contract, sucked for a couple of years, then came back to New England for 2 or 3 years and started doing good again. So a lot of these guys, man, they leave Brady and they just don't have the same success. Yeah. So, speaking of Brady, when do you think Miracle Man Brady calls it quits? He's talked about playing until he's 40.
I can see him doing it.
If his play doesn't drop off.
He's not declining.
We thought he was. At the beginning of the season, a lot of people were like, man, what's happening to Brady? But by the end of the season, it was no longer, man, what's happening to Brady? It's, man, what's happening to Manning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brady's like Manning chasing after records. I really think Brady just loves the game.
Yeah, he's never going to, break any records, but he owns Peyton Manning head to head. and he owns them in rings. And he's done it with less talent on offense.
Oh yeah.
So he never had Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Edgar James, Joseph Adai. I mean, Demaryius Thomas, well, he had Wes Welker, but he didn't win with Wes Welker.
Neither did Demaryius Thomas, well, Julius Thomas.
With Wes Welker and Emmanuel Sanders. And anyway.
A star-studded
Defense, right? But,
man, I feel weird, like, praising Brady.
yeah. Do you think Bill Belichick will call it quits whenever Brady finally retires? Think he hangs up the hoodie?
No.
No? Surprising. A lot of people out there think he will.
I don't know. I think he'd still stick around for a couple of years. And then, maybe
see if he can catch. If
people catch on to that Brady was very substantial to his success, then maybe. But I don't know. He's a great coach. So it appears.
I mean, Brady's not the one filling those holes like we talked about on defense and offense when people leave for the Super Bowl, and utilizing those players to their best given abilities. So, I don't know. I think. They got Jimmy Garoppolo there. And he's right now billed as the heir apparent to Brady. And if he turns out to be, half as good as Brady, then I don't know, maybe he sticks around. But I mean, what more does he have to prove? The dude,
building upon his legacy.
The dude's already won. So he's been to more Super Bowls than any coach. He's won 4 of them. The dude has $200,000-$300,000 of jewelry on that he can put on his hand. Maybe more. I don't know, but I don't know. Now, granted, there's the whole cheating history and all that other shit that people want to talk about, but Patriots know how to run their organization, even if they are cheating. They know how to do it and get away with it. All right, moving on to the Jets. How much better will the defense be with Revis and Crow back in town? Considering you had Kyle Wilson and Dean Milliner back there last year as your starting.
That's definitely going to bolster your secondary. I didn't pay much attention to the Jets last year, so I don't know how their pass rush was, their running defense. But
Sheldon Richardson is a force. At defensive tackle, he's a force to be reckoned with. Quentin Coples hasn't really lived up to the hype. I think he averages 6 sacks a year at outside linebacker. Crow isn't really going to give you interception production. He averages about 3 a year, but he defends his passes like a motherfucker.
Oh yeah,
I think he had 18 last year. And of course, Revis can do both. He'll have a year where he defenses a bunch of passes, and then he'll have a 7 interception season. So Revis can catch with the best of them.
He can. I mean, you got those two.
Got
those two in coverage. You can force teams to start relying on their third and fourth receiver or tight ends.
And maybe that's better for Kyle Wilson and D. Milliner. I mean, you put those guys in their third and fourth targets, maybe that even helps them. But more importantly, Todd Bowles wants to blitz. He likes man coverage. He got 2 of the best man cover corners in the game. So, huge plus right there. Is Geno the answer at QB?
No.
Not right now, definitely not. Change the question. Can he become the answer at QB?
I think he could.
He'd have to fix some fundamental flaws.
Yeah.
But as much as I'm totally against Geno, he has shown flashes here and there where he can put together a string, maybe in a drive or so, where he's just making some good throws. But for the most part, it's not there. I mean, you can't live your football life on hopes and dreams and flash in the pan. You gotta have consistency, and that's not something we've seen out of Geno. And I think honestly, if he doesn't get it together this year, then he's done. Yeah, at least with the Jets. Now, Geno and taking into consideration here, and possibly anybody else they may draft, can Todd Bowles do what Rex never could and develop a QB to lead the Jets?
Anything's possible.
Well,
I just think, I mean, let's face it, Rex is a very defensive coach.
right.
Plus, you gotta get somebody in there that's
Capable. Yeah. Well, I think Bowles' biggest advantage that Rex didn't have is he has the former working history with the quarterback whisperer, Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians has, a history of getting subpar quarterbacks to play better than subpar. Well, I wouldn't say a history, but he developed one in Arizona. He developed a history. And also, I mean, hell, he made Carson Palmer look a hell of a lot better. Prior to Arians, man, Carson Palmer was not looking that great. I mean, even his last couple years in Cincinnati weren't that great. Then he goes to Oakland, he doesn't look good. I mean, it's like, man, can this dude even be a starter anymore? But then, fuck. He's down there with the Cardinals, and people are talking, they could have won a Super Bowl if he had been healthy. So, I think he's got that in his back pocket. He's got that help. And I'm sure working with the guy, if they're on good terms, I'm sure he wouldn't. I mean, they're not even in the same conference. Screw division. They're not even in the same conference. They're on the complete opposite sides of the spectrum. NFC West, AFC East. So I'm sure he wouldn't mind helping Todd out and giving him some pointers and tips. Whereas Rex was coming from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Which doesn't have a history of developing quarterbacks. Quarterback they got now still seems like he could use some development in Joe Flacco. So, yeah. Lastly, all that being said, pass rush could use some help. And then there's question marks about Geno. But then also there's people out there saying you got to give Geno a chance. And by giving him a chance, you have to give him people to throw to. Right now they got Eric Decker, Brandon Marshall. Which way do you think they go in the draft? Receiver, quarterback, pass rush, somewhere else?
I was gonna say, you give him some better protection, but you look at last year, 28 sacks isn't terrible.
Aaron Rodgers would have killed for 28 sacks some seasons.
So yeah, I don't know.
Tony Romo too.
I would say get him some weapons to throw to. I know there's pass rush could use some help, but maybe the pass rush gets some help from having
a better offense.
Stud
or
defensive backs.
Yeah.
Making the quarterback hold the ball a little longer. So I think get Geno some weapons.
Oh, not only that, but if they get Geno weapons, and if that helps him out, then that offense can score more points. If that offense scores more points, then it makes the opposing offense also have to score more points to keep up. And everybody knows when you need to score, you pass. If you need to maintain a lead, you run. Yeah. So if they're putting them in more passing situations, perhaps that helps get the opposing defense a chance to, hit that pass rush more and get more in tune with the pass rush. Because in prior years, the offense has been on the field, off the field, real quick. And the defense has spent a lot of time on the field, and the opposing team's offense has been able to build up a lead, and now they're just running the ball. So they don't really get a chance to work the pass rush. And the only way to get better at something is to do it. And that's not just practice. I mean, practice and games are two different things. So you could go pass rush. I've seen a lot of people talk about Shane Ray, but I think if the Oakland Raiders pass on Amari Cooper, if they go Kevin White, or if Leonard Williams falls and they go Leonard Williams, I don't know. I can see the Jets going Amari Cooper. I could see them going Amari Cooper. So, but just about everybody has them doing either Shane Ray or Vic Beasley or Randy Gregory or something like that. So we shall see. All right. Moving on. Stopping 3 minutes early. All right. We will come back with the Bills and the Dolphins for part 5.